Today we're going to break down the core lesson from John C. Maxwell's fantastic book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And honestly, it's all about one single idea. An idea so powerful it could completely redefine how you think about leadership.
So let's just start with the really basic question. Think about it for a second. When you picture a leader, do you see someone who just knows everything? For a lot of us, the answer is yeah, absolutely. But that assumption, it creates a ton of pressure.
And this is what Maxwell calls the leader's answer trap. It's that feeling that you have to be the one with all the solutions, that admitting you don't know something is, a sign of weakness.
What's so powerful here is that Maxwell himself puts his hand up and says he fell right into this trap. He admits that this whole attitude led to a lot of faking, but not a whole lot of making. It's a super common and pretty lonely place for leaders to be, no matter what level they're at.
So this is the big pivot right here. The way out of that trap isn't to suddenly become some all-knowing genius. No, it's to completely change your approach, from being the one who gives answers to being the one who asks really powerful questions. So, why is this shift so powerful? Why does focusing on questions completely change the leadership dynamic? Well, let's break it down.
And wow, when you put it side by side, the difference is it's night and day. On one side, without good questions, you're basically stuck in a mental fog. You're not confident, you make bad decisions. But on the other side, profound questions lead to real clarity, confidence, and wisdom. The contrast couldn't be more clear.
First off, think of questions as keys. Seriously, they open doors you didn't even realize were there. Every single time you ask a thoughtful question, you're basically exploring a new hallway of possibility. And who knows if that leads to a new idea, a new connection, or the solution you've been looking for.
Second, they build bridges. It's funny, the word communication actually comes from a Latin word that means common. So how do you find that common ground with your team? You ask. Asking questions shows you actually value their perspective, and it is absolutely the fastest way to build trust.
And finally, asking questions gives you, and just as importantly, everyone around you, permission to just be human. It creates this culture where it's not just okay, but it's actually encouraged to admit you don't have all the answers. That kind of humility, that's the soil where real growth happens.
Okay, so we're sold on the why. Now let's get practical. Let's move to the how with some really powerful questions you can start asking people, like right away.
Maxwell suggests these 3 questions for basically any learning opportunity. The first one, what's the greatest lesson you've learned? That gets you wisdom from their past. The second, what are you learning now? That taps into what they're passionate about right now. And the third, how has failure shaped your life? That's where you get the real gold, the insight into their resilience. This isn't just a chat, it's a masterclass.
But, asking great questions isn't just an outward-facing skill. Actually, some of the most challenging and important questions are the ones we have to keep asking ourselves.
Let's start with this one, and it is a total gut check. Why do you want to lead? Is it about them, or is it about you? Your honest answer to this question really defines everything that follows. And here's how it breaks down. Selfish leadership is all about what you can get, but selfless leadership, that's about what you can give. Like Maxwell says, your motivation is that razor-thin edge that separates motivating your team from just manipulating them.
Okay, here's another huge one for self-reflection. Are you spending your time and energy on the things you are uniquely good at? Or are you trying to be all things to all people?
This quote from Samuel Johnson just nails it, doesn't it? The most effective leaders, they don't waste all their energy trying to fix every single weakness. They focus on maximizing their strengths, because that's where they can make their biggest impact.
Now, I want to share a quick story that shows how a single, simple question doesn't just give you information, it can literally create a legacy.
So, picture this. The scene is pretty simple. Maxwell has just finished a talk. A small group comes up to him, not just with some nice compliments, but with a real need.
And there it is. That's the question. It wasn't a statement, it was a question, and it came from a genuine desire to learn and to grow. That was the spark.
And get this, the response was immediate. 31 people signed up right then and there. That question wasn't just a fleeting idea, it was a call to action that created its own momentum.
So think about that. That one simple question was the catalyst for what became Maxwell's Maximum Impact Club, a resource that has influenced tons of leaders for decades. That, right there, is the power of a great question. And this really is the core takeaway of the whole thing. Getting information is good, sure. But sparking transformation? That's the real goal of leadership.
And it all begins with a question.
And that brings us to the end, but it's also a beginning, right? Because the most important thing isn't just knowing this stuff, it's doing it. So, the real question is for you. What question are you going to ask today to inform, to connect, and maybe, just maybe, to transform?